We're telling tales of the music we grew up with. That's the 70s plus more. So crank it up. Let's set the tone. It's more than music, it's the life we own. Take it away, fat man.
Well, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Mick and the Fat Man. That's Series 6, Episode number 5. And g'day, Mick. Happy rock and roll to you, sir. And how are you travelling?
Mate, I'm just fine today. I'm feeling perky and it's a lovely day. The sun's out. I think I'll go for a little wander down the beach later and get a bit of sand and salt water on my feet.
You're going to take the board down and have a bit of a surf, do you think?
The board?
Your surfboard?
Oh, I've seen not a lump or two before. I must say that my appreciation of ocean views and whatnot doesn't extend to actually going in it.
To the liquid stuff that's there?
No. Don't mind looking at it. Don't want to know about it. Don't want to physically touch it.
No, fair enough too. Well, there's gremlins in there, isn't there? You know, there's
bloody sharks and
blue bottles,
orcas and things.
Blue bottles,
stingers,
stuff.
That's in Queensland, isn't it?
Oh, the stingers are in Queensland. Yeah. You do get blue bottles down here.
Oh, we you get the odd one there. Not a lot. I mean, it's the orcas that I'm worried about.
Croppers. Oh,
they're on land. They're on the bus.
That's you.
I mean, I was a bit worried, with the orcas. I caught the Manly ferry the other week and the bloody orcas started attacking the ferry. I thought, what's going on here?
What's happening?
I hate that.
Bloody orcas. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Never have.
Yeah.
You know what they're like.
I do. Ever since that movie Orca that had Richard Harris in it and it threw him up in the air and then hit him with this tail and sent him across the bay.
Because you remember
about the only highlight of that movie, really.
But you remember in southern New South Wales, there was a whaling station at Eden, and they used to go out
Twofold Bay, yes.
And they used to go out and get the whales to basically kill, but they used orcas to help round them up, and they used to feed the orcas the whale cheeks, and they thought that was really good, and the orcas used to help them bring the actual whales in.
I did not know that.
That's
oh
the
my
thing.
God!
That's the thing.
It's a little traitor to the cetacean. Yeah.
Remember, they're not exactly the same.
They're sort of related to koalas or something, aren't they? Yeah.
Wombats. They're wombats on water.
Yeah. They're related to dolphins.
Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
And they do cube poos like wombats do cube poos.
I suppose that's as close as I'll get. Yeah.
Anyway, for those people who are listening from overseas, the wombat, which is a great Australian marsupial, does a poo that's a cube shape. And I don't know how does an animal do a cube-shaped poo.
It takes a lot of acute measurements. Acute measurements.
We have where we go and do a bit of farming out near our place. There's a bunch of wombats there, and you do see cube-shaped poo in the ground.
My goodness,
it's amazing.
It's a whole. It's going to be a program full of revelations, Jeffrey.
I think so. But I think we should move on. And now, thank God, because we were in your new beachside apartment, for want of a better term, and you were able to find the Globite travel bag, which is fantastic.
It's floated up, thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. And maybe we should just pick it up and unlock it. Have you got it over there, mate?
Oh, there it is. Yes, yeah.
Got All right, we'll bring it over and let's get onto those locks and see.
That's it. Yep, up on the table.
And remember, there's always that dodgy little one at the back there that you got to get.
Did you get it? Yeah.
And one more, I think.
Oh yeah.
There we go. What's inside this?
You've started off a chain reaction of lock opening.
There's so many locks on that bag. I don't know why they put so many on there. What do you got in there, mate?
Well, I've just opened it up and It's interesting. I forgot we wrote this one. Yeah, mate. You remember at the beginning of this year, 2026,
Barely.
we talked about supergroups. Yeah, well, I sort of remember. It was so long ago.
It was a long time ago.
Now, for many reasons, there's a lot of crossover between that episode and today's.
Oh,
right? So, yeah, look, it happens that...
Because Eric Clapton's here.
Well, Eric Clapton's in a whole lot of one-album wonder bands. Whatever reason, the band or artist wasn't able to replicate the success of their first album. And they vanished into the world of whatever happened to. Now, that happens in some cases. Clearly not Eric Clapton, and we'll come back to that. Well, look, or more relevantly, the overall question we should be asking is, why do some bands have only one hit album at all?
Don't know.
Well,
I'm asking. Why? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we?
Whole lot of reasons, yeah. Because they hate each other. That's not uncommon, you know, with the egos of rock artists constantly on display. The band's an artificial creation.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Them crooked vultures. Anything with Eric Clapton in it.
Fair enough.
And so on. Solo flops happen when one member of the band comes to the conclusion that they're the reason for the band's success and says, "Nah, see you, boys. I'm off to do my own stuff because I'm far more talented than you are. Steve Harley, I'm talking to you." Until reality intrudes.
Until reality intrudes, indeed. Well, that's going to be great, mate. I look forward to that. But before we get there, I think maybe we need to have a little bit of a...
Rock and roll heaven just keeps getting better as our artists are passing away. But we remember then here with words of good cheer and a love that will not fade away as we knock on heaven's door.
And as some of the great artists pass into history, another great Australian drummer has just passed away. Now, do you remember Mark Kennedy? Do you remember Ayers Rock?
I do indeed.
Mark Kennedy was the drummer there, and he was a bit of a Australian drumming legend, I guess. A bit like Rob Hurst, although Rob sort of stuck with a couple of bands. Mark was a bit more of a...
journeyman.
A journeyman. I was going to say a drumming slut, but...
journeyman sounds so much more professional.
Much nicer, doesn't it? He was around Spectrum. Doug Parkinson, big fan of mine. I love Doug Parkinson. Ayers Rock. Marsha Hines did a lot of work with Marsha and did so much work with her, in fact, that he ended up marrying her.
That happens.
Men at Work, Renee Geyer. Jimmy Barnes, he did a bit of work with Jimmy. And I know you're a fan of Jimmy's work.
I can't get enough Jimmy Barnes stuff.
So anyway, unfortunately, he passed away just recently. So thank you, Mark, for all your work in the music industry, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you muchly. Bit of Ayers Rock. What a great band they were.
Yes, very good.
They didn't last that
jazz
long.
rock, yeah.
They didn't last that long, but yeah, they were a great band. They even had a hit for far too jazzy to have a hit, but anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Great band. Great song. Won't play too much of it because we'll get hit with copyright shit. Anyway, so let's move on. Now, what about Mr. Frederick Edward Lefkowitz? Familiar with Frederick's work? Or professionally known as Fred Smith, American bass guitarist, mostly with the band Television.
Ding, 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 ding.
Another fella that seems to life has passed him by. It would look like, well, life has left him.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Well, it's left him, that's for sure and certain.
Yeah, so he did work with Blondie and a few others. So yeah, he's a busy boy. Another muso moving on.
Well, I think that pretty much puts the nail on the top of the coffin for Television. I think that's the whole band gone now, isn't it?
Oh, that's the lot.
Because Tom Verlaine went last year.
So if we do see a Television tour, we'll know that there's probably every chance that there's either they're all ghosts or perhaps they're
or
little river band style.
Ah, right, yes. God, they won't even be able to do a little river band with Johnny Farnham soon.
No, he can't sing anymore.
That's right, yeah.
But I don't think they've done a Little River Band has still played around the place over the years with nobody from Little River Band in it.
That's a whole different story. We should touch on that one way. Talk about the problem with when money meets ego.
I'm sure there's a bunch of bands over the years where the same thing has happened. So we should have a bit of an explore of that sort of.
Well,
Everybody
a year or
left the
two
band.
back, I went and saw the Animals, and the only original player in the Animals was the drummer, and he was 80-something.
Gee, that would have been good.
Probably not one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Rock news. Everybody's talking about rock news.
So we'll have a little bit of rock news, and I found this is rolled gold, mate. Rolled gold that I found for you today on YouTube, which I know you love it when I get involved in a bit of YouTube. What about a whole YouTube channel devoted to what sandwiches do rock stars eat?
It's catchy.
What do you think Ringo Starr would eat?
The Ringo Starr sandwich. I'm making musicians' favorite sandwiches, and today is the Funny Beetle himself. Ringo is regarded as one of the most influential drummers of all time. His unique sound is absolutely iconic, and that could be attributed to him being a lefty but playing on a right-handed drum set. Did you know Ringo wasn't the Beatles' first drummer? He replaced Pete Best.
It does go on a little bit about telling you stuff that you already know.
Yeah, I think we know all that.
But what we really want to do is get down to his sandwich.
I don't have a lot of them anymore, but cheese.
Just cheese sandwich.
Yeah, I love cheese.
It's 2 slices of buttered toast with a soft spreadable goat cheese and a hard goat cheddar. He prefers goat cheese because the molecules are smaller than cow cheese.
I've always said that. Haven't you?
I knew there was a reason I like goat cheese, but I didn't realise it was because Ringo likes smaller molecules.
What about if we went to...
The David Bowie sandwich. I'm making musicians' favorite sandwiches, and today is Ziggy Stardust himself. David Bowie, SpongeBob SquarePants. His favorite sandwich is a classic French croque monsieur. It's a grilled ham and Gruyere sandwich that's slathered in Dijon mustard and creamy bechamel. It's rich, tangy, and packed full of flavor. Bowie knew what he was talking about.
Is this the best YouTube channel ever?
My question would be more succinct, to be like, is this for real?
Now, we'll do one more, and I'll just get
Must
you...
we?
Oh, yeah, one more. Yeah. What do you want? Sammy Davis Jr., Harry Styles?
Harry Styles. Let's know what a young fellow eats.
All right, let's go to Harry.
The Harry Styles sandwich. I'm making musicians' favorite sandwiches, and today is the most famous member of One Direction. At the time of this recording, Harry Styles has the #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 and seems to score hits every few years. Initially, he was just Day. Harry's signature sandwich is rather plain for his flamboyant persona. It consists of buttered white bread, Branston pickle, and cheese. For the cheese, I used a fine English cheddar, none of that nuclear orange stuff. This sandwich wasn't bad, actually much better than I expected.
Lost for words. Absolutely lost
Branston
for words.
pickles and cheese.
It's a bit one-dimensional.
Anyway, we'll put that link in the show notes, Mick, if you don't mind,
People, you'll love that. I will highlight it in capitals.
because you will get a whole range of YouTube shorts of sandwich making. I think it's got Elvis Presley in there because a bit of peanut butter and banana in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Bruno Mars is there. And
Does he have Mars bars?
possibly. But I've got to do one more. I forgot about this one.
Snoop Dogg sandwich. I'm making musicians'
Snoopy
favorite
Dogg Dog.
sandwiches, and
Oh,
today is
yeah,
Snoop
he's
Dogg
got the
Dogg.
shizzle on his
Snoop Dogg is
sandwich.
one of the most famous and successful rappers of all time. Then he piles it high on some toasted
Okay,
white
go.
bread slathered in mustard. Then the whole
Okay,
thing
let's
is
go.
sandwich combines high quality bologna and the finest American cheese. Then he piles it high on some toasted white bread slathered in mustard. Then the whole thing is finished off with Snoop's magic ingredient. Barbecue chips, of course. This sandwich was not bad. It's essentially gourmet struggle food. All that's missing is the gin and juice.
So
How can
bologna,
Snoop Dogg stay so thin eating that rubbish?
bologna, cheese, and chips. Snoopy's got the Snoop Dogg is in the house with a bologna and cheese and chip sandwich.
Quick, make me a sandwich.
So that's great, isn't it? Anyway,
I'd like to say I'm impressed, Jeffrey. I'd like to. I really want to.
yeah. Now, look, I've moved on. I'm going to move on. And I've got a new segment for you, mate. Are you ready?
Can't wait.
Here it comes.
A bit of grit, a touch of flair, with a checkered scarf and spiky hair. From the disco lights to the football pitch, it's another Rod Stewart moment. It's a classic switch.
Mick, we're doing the Rod Stewart moment.
Immortalised forever in an AI intro that goes on far too long.
Far too long. It's just like, it's about, I don't know how long, it probably goes for about 30 seconds, which is kind of like 25 seconds too long. Anyway, Rod Stewart, I don't know whether, did you see recently where Mr. Trump pointed out that
Our favourite American president.
he is my favourite. There's never been an American president who can put out collectible cards like he can, and I've got them all. He said that basically the only troops that did anything in Afghanistan were the American troops, and there was a bit of a argy-bargy about saying, well, there were 400 troops. British troops died in Afghanistan, and it's not very nice. Anyway, Rod got on the back of it, and Rod called on President Trump to apologise for his disparaging remarks, and he said basically, "Hi there." This is what he wrote: "I may be just a humble rock star,
Hasn't been one of those for a while.
I'm also a knight of the realm." "And I have my opinions," he said. "I was born just after World War II, and I have a great respect for our armed forces that fought and gave our freedom. So it hurts me badly, deeply, when I hear that the draft dodger, that's what he says, Donald Trump has criticised our troops in Afghanistan for not being on the front line. We lost over 400 of our guys," Stewart continued. "Think of their parents, think about it, and Trump calls them almost like cowards. It's unbearable. I'm calling on you, Prime Minister Starmer and Farage, please make the draft dodger Trump apologise. Please. Thank you." Well done, I say to Rod. What do you think?
Very polite too.
Very
Please
polite.
and thank you. Mind your P's and Q's, yes?
I mean, there's not many men in the world that can say, "I'm a humble rock star and a knight of the realm." Most of them would just...
Not put both of those things in the one sentence, no.
Paul McCartney could. He's still around. Ringo probably could too. He's a knight of the... Is he a knight? Is he a sir?
I suppose.
I don't know.
Could well be.
Anyway, so, Rod's really sticking it up bloody Trumpy, isn't he?
Oh, dear.
Really got stuck into him. Anyway, Mick, that's our Rod Stewart moment. And we'll continue to play. I love to play that intro, which just goes on just a little bit long. But it's a funky tune. Don't you reckon?
Nothing like Rod Stewart.
Nothing at all. I asked Suno, my AI music manufacturer, to make it in the style of, because you can't say in the style of Rod Stewart, but, like pop, Britpop, blah, 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 blah. And that's what it came up with.
How about try in the style of Scottish rockers who wear tartan scarves on stage with spiky hair, who sang Maggie May.
Nonetheless, the music bears no resemblance to anything really that like British or anything like that. It's just sort of a bit bluesy. But
Yeah.
So let's move on to 1001 albums you must hear before you die, Mr. Robert Dimery. I've scooted my way through to page 340. From 1975, now Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, producer Jack Douglas, cover art Pacific Eye and Ear, running time 37 minutes. didn't have a huge amount of chart success. 79 for 2 weeks. Now, I think realistically, in 1975, we were probably at the peak of our, rock and roll music listening, period as teenagers.
Heading right into it, yep.
I never listened to this album. I never listened to it.
Not at the time, no.
No.
Because we had lots of good stuff to hear.
And but anyway, I've just pulled a little bit of the 1001 albums spiel in there. It says this glam tinted 1975 blockbuster. It's a glam tinted blockbuster. That's how they describe it.
Ooh,
Fuses,
somebody got an adjective book for Christmas.
Fuses white boy blues with gigantic hard rock hooks, nodding to the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and Rolling Stones. Guitar hero Joe Perry is Keith Richards to Steve Tyler's Mick Jagger. And the front man's big voice is cool. Now, Mick, putting Aerosmith in the same sentence as Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, and the Beatles. Take it from there, mate.
You know how we've said many times that we don't like to criticise in a negative sense the albums that Bob's seen fit to put into his book.
Indeed.
I think we're going to go against that rule today. I think Aerosmith are an American creation to make up for the fact that they couldn't generate a homegrown Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin. You talk about 1975, we had those bands, we had Bad Company, we had a litany of terrific hard rock bands and Australian bands. Now, we were heading into the period of Cold Chisel, the Angels, and so on and so on. Yeah.
And this is the peak of American produce of rock music.
It's all a bit sad, isn't it? Look, they're a 5-member band out of Boston, and I love the Boston accent. It's very amusing. Yeah, that's what brought us RFK.
That's right.
Yeah, Steve Tyler, he's got a bit of a Jagger feel to him in terms of his looks. Joe Perry on lead, Brad Whitford on rhythm, Tom Hamilton on bass, and Joey Kramer on drums. They really decided to live the rock star lifestyle, and in fact, their drug use was so for Tyler and Perry in particular was so prodigious that they became known as the Toxic Twins.
Brilliant.
Around this time, I mean, you've got to have a moniker. They were the Toxic Twins. The people that the writer wants to draw a comparison with, Glimmer, what's his name, Jagger and Richards were known as the Glimmer Twins. Just so they even took, they even pinched the labelling. It's just, their drug use contributed after this album to a major decline in the band's fortunes through the 80s. I'll get to the album in a moment, but I really, really don't like Aerosmith. I think they're awful. Reputed that many bands wouldn't work with them because of the amount of drugs that were there. They were taking. They'd drop stuff on the floor because there was so much of it around. They'd take cocaine to get up for shows and Quaaludes and heroin to come down. That's a really good way of building up a healthy lifestyle. In
fact, I reckon that you mentioned RFK Jr. there. He recently was talking about hygiene for some reason. I can't remember now. And he pointed out that he had snorted cocaine off a toilet seat. And, so he really knew what hygiene was all about.
Well, he would. Yeah.
And I'm sure these boys have done far worse.
Yeah, well, exactly what diseases does cocaine inoculate you against or vaccinate you against?
COVID vaccines.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, that's fair enough.
Keeps it
that
away.
Explains a lot of his behaviour, actually. Tyler would often collapse on stage, forget the words, and fake seizures sometimes to avoid playing when he felt too wasted. This is great stuff. And he I was going to say he wrote an autobiography, but probably had a journalist help him write an autobiography. It said he spent around $6 million on cocaine alone through his career. $6 million straight to Peru.
That's
it's
a
all good
lot of cocaine.
Yeah. As Joan Rivers once said of Barry Manilow, if he was on hard drugs, he could inhale Peru.
She is one funny woman.
She is indeed. This album is the third album, Toys in the Attic. The first two had bombed. They hadn't done well at all. This is their last chance to make it. I find the album terribly derivative. You look at the people they compare them to, and that's who they've ripped off. It's very dull when you listen to it in total. I found couldn't really get up any sort of rhythm in listening to it. And you'd hear something. It's not all bad, it's just mostly bad.
2 songs shine, one song's okay, and the rest is dribble.
Rubbish. Yeah. But you listen to it and you think, can I put something good on? Yeah.
I get this feel, just listening to it, I just thought, okay, there's 2 good songs. And you think the record company's thinking, all right, we've got 2 songs. Can we make an album out of this? Get back in there, boys. Do another song.
Probably, yeah.
It sort of almost looks like there's some of those songs are just bad. Well, just nothing. They're nothing. They're nothing songs.
Well,
just dull.
It's hard to see the excitement. Their PR agencies really earned their money trying to generate a story about Aerosmith, and they talk about their excitement on album and live. Get a grip.
And they talk about the hard rock. There's not a lot of hard rock there.
This is pop.
It's Sweet Emotion's a great song.
Yeah.
Great song.
It is.
With some good riffs and stuff like that. But, my God, there's some fucking mediocre shit on here.
Well, let's go through some of that mediocre stuff. There's a track on there called No More, No More, which is such a straight rip-off of Brown Sugar by the Stones that I'm listening to. I mean, I did listen to it for the purpose of this exercise, but I'm listening to it thinking, oh, God, Keith would be turning in his grave if he could ever find one. Yeah. Walk This Way. The version on this album of Walk This Way is nowhere near as good as the version that Rick Rubin generated with Run DMC for the cover.
Not at all.
That was a lot of fun, that cover, and it rescued Aerosmith 10 years later from the drug hell that they'd pushed themselves into. Their career was done. Yeah. And Rick Rubin, who we've talked about Rick a few times before, and he is just probably one of the greatest American producers there is. A lot of rap stuff, but he also loves rock music and appreciates rock music and appreciates its place in the entertainment spectrum. And he really drew out great performances from all the band. But the original on this album, fairly dull, fairly lifeless.
I think the thing with it is it's familiar, so it actually sounds okay. That was my thinking. I know the song, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But really, for me, the standout, Sweet Emotion, is probably the standout, and then it's all.
I don't mind Toys in the Attic, which is appropriate for that means craziness.
Oh, does it?
He's got toys in the attic. He's got rubbish in his head.
Oh, okay.
This is probably the best or the second best song on the album for my money. Phrasing and the riffing are better than anything else on the album. Remember we did an article, an episode on REM a while back, a year or two back, and we talked about that they used to love playing in the studio with all sorts of songs. And I'd been able to identify nearly 100 top songs that they'd covered to one degree or another, not for commercial purposes, but for fun in the studio. And Toys in the Attic is one of them. So I reckon the REM version of Toys in the Attic was better than the Aerosmith version.
Did you enjoy Uncle Salty?
No.
Oh,
no, it's just awful. Yeah.
Just amazing.
Round and Round. It's a Black Sabbath style riff, but Black Sabbath style. Is that a way to build a career? Not really.
My big 10-inch record is just fucking.
Yeah.
Just
it's so obvious.
Pathetic.
It's just nonsense.
Just pathetic.
Yeah. I agree with you about Sweet Emotion. It's it vies with Toys in the Attic as the strongest song on the album, and it's probably one of the Aerosmith songs that's lasted most. It's the first song I encountered of Aerosmith ever in my life, and I didn't mind it. That ding 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 ding, that double looping riff,
and nice vocals, and nice guitar work as well. So it sort of highlights the best bit of the band, the best bits of the band, I think.
I think so. It does have a Led Zeppelin feel, and you can't get away from it. There's nothing wrong with having a Led Zeppelin or a Beatles feel or whoever else
Rolling
we've got here,
Stones.
Rolling Stones feel. But when you straight out start copying their riffs, it's crazy. This song, Sweet Emotion, it's got a distinct Led Zeppelin feel, but it hasn't got Joe Perry putting on his Jimmy Page hat. Yeah, it's not, if Page can do it, I can do it, because you can't.
No.
So if that's disappointing to any of our listeners who love Aerosmith and can't wait for the next ballad that they do in a movie, sorry.
Look, probably the best thing they've ever done is be on The Simpsons, so let's move on.
Exactly.
Tell me about One Hit Wonders, mate.
Oh, look. We're familiar with the One Hit Wonder, the single, right, where a band or an artist has a hit single because it's the right time or the right sound or radio picks it up for whatever reason, and it's a hit and one and done. Thanks very much. It's gone. It's viewed as buried treasure for the next 40 years, and fame, success, gone. Thank you. There's the same thing with albums. Now, these days, with streaming and downloading stuff, there's not the same importance of albums. But for us, for the music that we listen to, albums are really important. Albums define an era of a band. They define a sound of a band. You look at someone like Bowie. His albums change through the years, and really, that's his Ziggy Stardust period, or that's his Serious Moonlight period, and the sounds vary by album.
Yep.
If you have one album, if you only ever release one album, you don't really have a lot of change evident, and there's not really a career. It's just a bunch of songs that happen to be successful for whatever reason, and it may just be linked to the one single.
Yeah, that's right.
It sometimes can happen. Probably not a lot is not the case with this bunch of albums that we're going to talk about, but it could. So one album wonders. I mentioned before, bands split up. They get together, they work hard, they either take too many drugs or success isn't the fun that they thought it would be, or it really exposes the egos of some of the band members and they split up, or it's something more tragic. We've got cases where the lead singer dies or a key musician in the band dies, but often the lead singer. Not easy for a band to continue on without their original lead singer. No. Very few bands have done it. AC/DC did it and they were lucky.
Yeah.
But most bands, Queen struggled ever since Freddie Mercury died.
Sure.
But they're not a one-hit wonder by any definition.
But I think, and you'll be pretty happy to hear this, JD Fortune is going to be playing in not far from you this year and doing Queen tribute.
JD Fortune doing a Queen tribute?
Yeah.
JD Fortune from INXS.
Sorry, beg your pardon. INXS tribute.
Can't wait.
Sorry. But he's going to be doing solo INXS stuff. So, and he's going to be playing
at Anita's at Thirroul?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So I know you're going to be there.
No, we can just go to the pub next door and have a few drinks and thank our lucky stars that we're not in the theatre.
Just the JD Fortune. What did he do? He was on. What was he on? Great American Song Singer or one of those sorts of things. That's where he came from. Yeah. INXS put him in. He sang all their songs, and now he does a solo career singing INXS songs.
Well, a man's got to know his limitations. Thanks, Clint. But the funny thing is how they fired him. They booked him on a flight to join the tour. He got the flight. They didn't turn up.
It's like sending the kid down to get a packet of cigarettes from the shop and moving.
Exactly. Oh, I know about that one. Yeah. Yeah. So we're only going to talk about studio albums today. We're not going to talk about posthumous records or remixes, compilations and live albums. Yep. They don't count. Yep. So we're just going to talk about single albums.
Sure.
Of course, there's always one-off albums that simply aren't successful. Yeah, they sink without trace, and it's largely irrelevant to what we're talking about today. Of course, there is one that we're going to talk about that was unsuccessful completely, but it still marks a great moment in history.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So let's kick off with a couple. the grunge era in Seattle. Gave us Pearl Jam, gave us a few other bands, and it gave us a whole bunch of Nirvana. It gave us a whole bunch of music that was really good. But what started it off was a band called Mother Love Bone, who released an album in 1990 called Apple. It's regarded as an album that set the scene for the genre of grunge. They were the leading band of the movement at the time. And it's funny how one town, one city can develop a sound that becomes the defining sound of the music industry for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Manchester later on in the 80s did the same. The New York sound, Miami, and so on and so on. But anyway, grunge, Seattle, 90s. The band was a four-piecer, and it had Andy Wood, whose voice was described as somewhere between Axl Rose and Steve Tyler, which, given what we just said about Aerosmith, I don't know if that's a good recommendation or not, but there you go.
Oh, so Steve could squeal a bit, and he actually had a big range, and
I think he was better than Steve Tyler.
Yeah, but even so, Tyler probably had a reasonable rock voice if he had decent songs to sing.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. Jeff Ament, Stone Gossard, and Greg Gilmore made up the rest of the band until Wood died of a heroin overdose.
Bugger.
Damn, that was inconsiderate, Andy.
What was he thinking?
Yeah. Ament and Gossard went on to form Pearl Jam and with Eddie Vedder, and the rest is history there. So Pearl Jam is now identified as the formative, the number one band out of Seattle. I think Nirvana is in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Don't know if they're recognised as grunge at all, because he was pretty critical of grunge, Mr. Cobain.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Didn't realise.
So I wonder what would have happened if Wood had lived. It would have been the end. Would Eddie Vedder have risen to the top anyway, without top quality musicians working with him in Pearl Jam? Who knows? This album's pretty good in the grunge vein, and there'll be a bit of it on the playlist. So have a listen; it's really good.
All right, cool.
Eric Clapton keeps popping up lately with our stuff. I
know he's
I promise I'll give him a rest.
He's been a busy boy over his career. He keeps popping into our podcast, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he keeps popping up into the music industry. He's become somewhat of a divisive character in his old age. He's been accused of being a full-on major league egocentric. Yeah.
Okay.
Along with charges of being a full-on racist and an anti-vaxxer.
Yes,
it's...
I didn't realise that.
I really think it's unusual that someone... Unusual, unacceptable, a whole lot of uns, that someone who built his reputation on playing blues should be a racist, and he's been associated with the anti-immigration movement in the UK. Keep Britain white. It just doesn't tie with his history, and it certainly shows no gratitude for what he does, for what he's earned and learned. And the anti-vaccine thing, him and Van Morrison formed a clown act, complaining about the COVID vaccines and the government conspiracies and all the stuff they're injecting, the little things they're injecting under your skin to keep track of you.
Oh, that's right. Little computers into you and that sort of stuff.
I mean, that's fantastic technology if it's true. And why would they bother inventing a disease?
I reckon they're injecting Steve Jobs into you. Little bits of Steve Jobs.
Oh, that accounts for why I've started to really feel a need to wear a turtleneck sweater.
And this insatiable drag. I don't want a Mac. I don't want a Mac. I don't want a Mac. No.
That's right. Yeah, and it probably accounts for my overt criticism of Apple products, because I'm fighting that Steve Jobs in my bloodstream.
I looked at that thing you bought, that computer that you bought.
The computer? Which one?
Your new computer.
Oh yes, yeah. It's a man's computer. It's real.
What a schlong! That is just a big schlong, isn't it? A big phallus.
It works. It works for me. It's a real computer. You can hear it doing its job.
It's like 40 foot high and bloody...
It's called a tower. Not called a tower for no reason.
Towers these... Well, you.
Me?
You do, thank
me,
God.
I do, thank God.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know, I love it. I love it.
It suits you. It's like it's like it's going to have a heritage listing on it in a couple of years' time. I can see it.
Then it'll be worth money. In our list that we're talking about today, 2 bands featuring Clapton appear.
Mm.
Primarily because the bands broke up with band members basically hating each other.
Well, it seems to be a bit of a recurring theme, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the other band he was in, they had more than one album, but the band still split up with everyone hating each other.
I'm wondering if Ginger Baker thought that probably Clapton was down on Ginger Baker because like with a name like Ginger, he thought, oh, fucking gingers, don't like gingers.
Yeah, don't like gingers. They
Don't
probably
like-
take vaccines.
Vaccines, probably likes black people as well.
Well, look, I don't know. I got to say that I'm no expert on nastiness. I prefer niceness. But apparently Jack Bruce was a bit of a handful to get along with as well.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's
is
what I
going
hear.
on?
I don't know.
God. Well, that's why that. Oh man. Okay, move on.
Blind Faith
Yep.
came after Cream, and it easily fits into the category of supergroups. Clapton, Ginger Baker again. So if they hated each other so much, why are they in another band? Yeah, I never understood that. And Stevie Winwood, who's fantastically talented. Legend has it that Blind Faith is the band that Clapton wanted Cream to become.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
he wasn't happy with the singing on Cream's albums, and
He's only got himself to blame.
well, yeah, him and Bruce did the singing. I mean, Ginger Baker's not renowned for his singing at all. But Stevie Winwood is renowned as a rock vocalist, and he's very, very good. Spencer Davis Group, his own solo stuff, The Ark of a Diver in the mid-'70s, was a fabulous album, a huge hit for him.
I was out with Mr. Panama, Jarrah,
Oh, yes.
the other day, and I had Ark of a Diver on.
Oh, good.
And he's going, who's this? I said, Stevie Winwood. He goes, I'm liking Mr. Winwood's work. So,
Well, there you go.
Jarrah, who's a bit of Panama, who's really
A modern hit.
modern electronic music kind of guy, was right into a bit of Stevie Winwood.
That's fantastic. So we're doing a community service here.
We have indeed.
Yes. Look, Blind Faith has got great playing. Blind Faith is probably underrated amongst Clapton's other work in the 70s, or 60s rather. But it's got standout tracks: "Had to Cry Today," "Sea of Joy," which has been covered later by other people, "In the Presence of the Lord," which again, slow, bluesy, soulful song, wonderful. Clapton's playing is focused, wonderfully melodic. It's probably some of Clapton's finest playing.
And a cover brought to you by Jeff Epstein.
Was it really?
That's not, no.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Was like a joke, folks. Winwood, not only a great vocalist, but great organist. Yeah, lots of colourful washes in the sound.
Yeah, no, he's great.
He's no Linda Ronstadt of singing Stevie Winwood, but when he gets in his groove, he's got a great sound. As I said, we mentioned a couple of bands that he's in. Advance orders of this album were around about 250,000, which is not a shabby number at all. Then they blew it. They released the album with a photo of 13 years old girl naked.
That's what I said. Brought to you by Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, I see. Right.
God almighty, I had to bloody nail that home, didn't I?
I did. Well, you could have just waited a couple,
I didn't.
couple of sentences.
Sorry. Your mind was
timing, Jeffrey.
Your mind was in a different place. Sorry.
My mind was. Yeah. So that got him a lot of criticism, and so they had to hastily redo the cover with the cover of the band. In fact, it was the photo from the back of the album originally, the cover of the band in a church with an organ, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Still a number one hit in the UK and the US, number 2 in Australia, so the band broke up just for fun.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And then moved on.
There, finished. Derek and the Dominoes. Clapton.
Clayla.
or he was introduced in on the album Secret Policeman's Ball, Eric Clapton. by John Cleese.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And Clacton is a bit of a down market suburb in London.
Right.
So I suspect it wasn't a mispronunciation. I think it was a joke.
Yeah, it seems so.
They do that, those guys. They're so funny.
They're edgy.
Yeah. Layla. I love Layla. I think Layla's some of Clapton's best work. But the story behind the album, Layla, drink, drugs, mental illness, the band was just a bloody a shambles. It's Clapton was deep in drug addiction.
Yep.
That's the primary reason they didn't go on to make a second album. Dwayne Allman, he went on the following year, died in a motorcycle accident.
Deep into motorcycle accidents.
Deep in motorcycle heaven, yep. Jim Gordon had the beginnings of schizophrenia. He murdered his mother in 1983 and stayed in jail for the rest of his life.
Jesus.
Carl Radel, long-term drug and alcohol addiction. So we're talking a mess here of a band. But some of the tracks on the album, Layla, to this day, everybody knows Layla and credits Eric Clapton with the riff.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Poor Dwayne.
Yeah, sorry, Dwayne.
Bell Bottom Blues, which, again, a very nice song. And Tell the Truth, a good bluesy little number. They started a second album, but couldn't do it. They were just so paranoid because of all the drugs and mental illness. Didn't go anywhere.
Drugs and paranoia, a great combination.
It's a great, yeah. One doesn't cause the other at all. I don't know what they're talking about.
No.
Now, another one of my favourites. It's funny how when we make up these lists, they often get to be dominated by my favourites. Not Jeff Buckley, Grace. Now, Jeff Buckley's around so much and trips off people's tongues so often that you'd think that he'd had more than one album.
You would, wouldn't you? You would. I must admit.
Yeah.
You would think that this guy had such a huge catalogue of music.
Yeah.
Except he didn't.
Traded on one album. There was a whole lot of stuff released after he died. You know, a live album, an album of outtakes from the studios, cleaned up a little bit by a producer, but one album.
Yep.
He was very influenced by some of the great people of the industry. Leonard Cohen, Led Zeppelin, The Smiths.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd know him. Yeah. North African player, and he'd worked with Eddie Vedder.
Okay.
And I really liked some of that stuff that they did together. Any regular listener is going to know my distaste for Buckley, who got the credit for making Cohen's Hallelujah one of the most covered songs of all time, when he simply lifted John Cale's arrangement and performance note for note. I can't think of any more opportunities for me to say that on air, so that's probably the last time you'll hear me criticise Jeff Buckley for stealing John Cale's career.
I doubt that.
Yeah, I'll look for other opportunities to say it, yeah. I'm very forgiving, though.
Yeah,
you know
oh,
that.
God, yeah, so forgiving.
He was working on a second album, but before he could complete it, he drowned. No suggestion of drugs or alcohol.
No, just bad swimming.
Yeah, just bad swimming, leaving Grace as his only legacy.
Yeah, I think the river was a bit flooded, a little bit flowing a bit quick.
Wow, yeah. The Mississippi, if you've never seen the Mississippi, it's really hard to get a grip on how bloody big it is. You know,
one of the biggest rivers in the world, I do believe.
I heard that, yeah. In 2017, I rode Route 66 on a Harley, and one of the most impressive things was we crossed the Mississippi on an old bridge, so we were able to stop in the middle of this bridge and just look at it, and it's like a bloody lake. It's so big and so wide. So for it to flood and have all of that pressure of that water coming down, I can understand why if he was a bit pissed or off it.
Did you get an insatiable desire to sort of like just jump in and do a bit
I felt like swimming, do
a bit of Jeff Buckley sort of action?
I just said hallelujah and dived.
Let's all go, boys.
Yeah, let's go. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Here's one I'm not going to talk a lot about, but it's a really great album, and we're going to put some of it into the playlist. A band called The Lars.
This is a fucking great album. It really is a good album.
It is.
Despite the story.
Yeah. And there's not much of a story. The bands were the band was noted distinctly different other popular British bands at the time in the late 80s. Stone Roses and Happy Mondays. It was that trippy sort of dancey style music. The Lars were more melodic, back to the Britpop of the 60s. And they were compared, in fact, to the Beatles. They had one single called There She Goes. There she goes. There she goes again. And that's a lovely song.
Great
I really
song.
like it.
Great song.
But I think the band themselves, it's one of those things of not happy with themselves. They're not happy with the album. They didn't like it. Lee Mavers, the central guy of the band, thought the production was awful.
Hated it. And
Not going to do another one.
Took so long, like delayed the release of the album so long
Yeah.
that the company just said, fuck off.
Yeah.
Record company.
Yeah.
And basically released the album.
Yeah.
And then he went out on the promotional tour and told everybody not to buy it.
That helps, doesn't it? Yeah. It's always a boost to sales, and the record companies love it when artists do that.
Oh, it's great. I think, oh, you petty prick.
Yeah.
What a nasty bit of work.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for the Lars, we wouldn't have Oasis. Who seem to
God, they've got a lot to answer for, haven't
who
they?
seem to have taken their arseholeness from an arsehole.
It's important you learn from experts. There's rumours of heroin use and all sorts of things, which is denied by the band. They don't deny that he took heroin, only that he hadn't taken heroin when he wrote the song, which everyone interprets as a heroin use song.
Hadn't taken enough.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Yeah, and a credit to Oasis.
Yeah.
So you can expect to find There She Goes on the playlist, ladies and gents.
Great song.
It
Great,
is,
and to be honest, the description, essentially, I think there's a general consensus that they're kind of the start of that Britpop sound, the jangly guitars and all that sort of stuff, and it's a great album.
Yeah.
But what a waste of talent.
Oh, I've got nothing on which to base it because I know nothing about Mr. Mavers, and in fact, there's been very little, given the circumstances, written about him. But apparently, he just sits at home recording the same songs again and again on his mobile equipment that he's got at home. A bit similar to the mobile board that we use to record this.
Yeah, I was like you. I had a bit of a read, and it sort of just disappeared. He just disappeared.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Good on you, mate.
Yeah,
well done. From a vanishing nobody to the Pistols. Everybody who knows them loves the Sex Pistols. They are so old now that I can understand the majority of music listeners wouldn't know Holidays in the Sun if they fell over it.
No, none of it.
Yeah, it's this is one of my all-time favourite albums. As you know, every time it gets mentioned, it gets, isn't it great? Yeah, it's a wonderful album. Nasty, spitty, dirty playing.
Yep.
All the good things you want in a rock album.
Absolutely.
You listening, Aerosmith?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was released 3 months after the band split. Permanently, yeah, and we talked about in the episode where we talked about the Pistols that came from a tour in the US. Why on earth would you take a band like the Sex Pistols to do a southern US tour? Yeah. The Sex Pistols didn't even know what Korn looked like. Unbelievable. So their abrasive sound, they weren't the most abrasive band even in the punk movement. But they were certainly one of the most successful. Them, the Clash, probably the Buzzcocks all came out of that punk movement with their sound and finances intact. Not the Pistols because they hated each other. But that's in a way because Malcolm McLaren was involved, manipulated all the band members, and basically they were a punk rock safety pin monkeys.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it worked a whole lot better than the Monkees. But McLaren put the band together. Fabulous songs that still stand up today. You hear any of the God Save the Queen, God Save the Queen, and the fascist regime. Now imagine if Prince Andrew had happened then.
Oh, and I am an... Anyway, great album.
Yeah, Anarchy in the UK, pretty vacant. EMI, with a prophetic line in it. You thought we were faking, which they rhymed with money making. Whoever they mentioned in their songs really got a pasting.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Uh,
Move on.
Yeah, move on. People attempted to put the band together, but they hated each other. Even today, Johnny Rotten, Johnny Lydon, well-known financial problems. His wife died recently in the last couple of years, which is very sad because
he looked after her.
He looked after her, and they got together back then. So, he'd been with her for his whole life, and that was a really sad exercise. Sure. But he got offered a lot of money to go on a reunion tour with the Pistols and said, nah, don't like it. He had a lawsuit, so he built a lot of acrimony around the band. The song Pistol, the show Pistol that we've talked about before, which was about the Sex Pistols, launched a lawsuit which he lost. No, expensive exercise to lose a lawsuit. And that would have generated the tour with Johnny Rotten singing would have generated an enormous amount of money for them. He said, no. Whether that's him being high-minded or whether he's just too nasty for words, probably a bit of both.
Yeah, I think
if you've read his book, he's pretty nasty.
Yeah, he's a bit angry.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Let's go to another band that no one's ever heard of. Very few people have heard the album, but this is one that's really famous for a whole lot of reasons. Not a lot to do with music. It was all right. I had to listen to the album. It's very difficult to even find.
All right.
Yeah. The streaming stations don't play it. It's Permanent Damage by the GTOs. It was part of the Frank Zappa orbit, and a bunch of reasonably attractive young girls, which is always a good start when you're Frank Zappa, who got together and made a garage poppy type album, garage rock type album. But who were the girls? The girls were, they've been described as a musical monkeys, visually appealing women, musical input from Jeff Beck, Davy Jones, Rod Stewart, another Rod Stewart mention.
Hello.
Yeah. And the girls themselves were a crew of enterprising Hollywood groupies.
Is that right?
Yeah, led by Pamela Ann Miller, who became more famous as Pamela DeBar, and Linda Sue Parker, who used the stage names Miss Pamela and Miss Sparky. Now, Pamela DeBar established a reputation as one of the more eager groupies of the rock era.
Right.
Yeah, she notched up Mick Jagger, Jimmy Page, Keith Moon, Noel Redding from Jimi Hendrix's band, Chris Hillman, Graham Parsons, and Don Johnson, who's not a musician, but nonetheless, he's famous.
Chalk it up.
Yeah, and the other one, of course, is Cynthia Plastercaster, who you've mentioned before, who gained fame for creating plaster casts of celebrities' erect penises.
Well, she was in that, was she?
She was indeed.
Whoa!
So the girls were more famous for their extracurricular activities than their musical ability. And really, when I'm going to put a song on the playlist from this album, if I can find something that'll go onto the playlist, because Spotify doesn't have the album either.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll see what we can put on there, and you'll see probably the primary reason why it's not a huge success.
Okay.
And why they broke up, because they weren't really a musical band, just a bunch of girls who wanted to get into the rock industry. Because they were already on it.
Interestingly, Zappa was another person who criticised Linda Ronstadt, just out of interest.
Oh, Zappa was very critical of most people, in fact.
He's a cranky old bastard.
This album is famous, and it's become a real collector's item. It's
right?
One of those things. Discogs, the second-hand record website, lists the album, median quality album, $130.
Shit.
And a high-quality version of this album, which means it probably hasn't been played, the corner doesn't have ragged edges, the album doesn't have ragged edges, that sort of thing, $312.
For a shit album?
For a copy of the album, yeah, because it's got photos of all the girls on it.
Ah,
not doing their hobby, but nonetheless. Yeah. So it's interesting what makes some of these lists.
You wouldn't want to see that hobby because you'd have to look at Jimi Hendrix's Todger, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, so to speak. Yeah. What about Jimmy Page? Since he was mentioned in the last one, he's mentioned in this one as well. Coverdale Page. Did you ever listen to that album a lot?
No.
I had it.
No.
And it was great. I really, really liked it. It was Page and David Coverdale from Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Draped in lashings of Led Zeppelin. Because
Sure.
Jimmy Page is quite entitled to play Led Zeppelin stuff.
Sure. Let him off.
If you write it, you can play it.
Yeah.
And it was an attraction. You would get to the early 90s and there had been no Led Zeppelin album for 10 years or heading up that way. And there was a Led Zeppelin-sized gap in the market. So Page teamed up with David Coverdale to produce an album which sounded like Led Zeppelin's early stuff.
Happy days.
Yeah. Very riff heavy by Page. And Coverdale sings a bit like Plant to the extent that... Robert Plant dubbed him David Cover version.
Pot calling the kettle black, methinks. The amount of stuff he fucking ripped off over the years.
Well, exactly right. Yeah, so he'd know, wouldn't he?
He'd know.
Yeah, there's some very strong tracks on the album. "Shake My Tree." With the Middle Eastern sort of feel, and we all know that Page loved to use Middle Eastern and Arabic sounds on some of his album. And "Waiting on You," which is and I think that's the one I'll put on the playlist.
Okay,
it's a great song, great album. As I say, I bought it because I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
Yes, the reception was mixed, and the usual up themselves critics called it variations of an uninteresting waste of time.
Mind you, that's a good line.
Yeah,
I must admit, that is a good line.
It is, yeah. Oh, dear. More balanced reviews, of course, pointed out that it may not have been as good as Led Zeppelin, but it was a good album. And I think so. I think it was good. I enjoyed it. A couple of songs I think you'll probably agree with me. Yeah.
Okay. Have a listen.
Yeah, well, exactly. What about the Modern Lovers?
What about them?
Yeah, have you heard of Modern Lovers, Jonathan Richman? Roadrunner was probably Jonathan Richman's most famous song. This is Jonathan Richman's pre-punk outfit. Bit fragmented, the sessions. John Cale had a lot to do with it, and he produced it. It was mainly produced in the early 70s, but it wasn't released until 76. And the band broke up well before it was even released. It was released because Jonathan Richman got a bit of a profile later on in the 70s, and they said, what have we got? Let's release it and get it out. It's been hailed by critics ever since. Some of the better critics, of course.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone. Sometimes they get it right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Called it a record that laid the groundwork for modern punk and indie.
Okay, good work.
Yeah.
What year did it come out? 76.
Early 70s.
Okay.
So recorded. Look, you can hear its fingerprints everywhere today. Roadrunner is a fairly representative song of indie /punk /post-punk. It's on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time.
Okay.
And it's in Bob's book. 101 albums you must hear before you die.
We better cover it.
Oh, well, we've just done that.
No, we need to do it in more detail.
Yeah. When I spoke to Cale about the album, he said, "Oh, Jonathan, he's such a lot of fun." Which I thought that's an interesting comment to make about a musician. And this was in March 80 when Cale played at the Capitol Theatre in Sydney, supported by a later version of Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, who were really interesting live. Very good, very tight.
Oh, cool.
Interestingly, for Mr. Frankfurt, who is still with us.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Yeah, one of our regular listeners, in fact. It's really interesting because he jumps on an episode as soon as we release them.
He's a good man.
He's a good man, yeah. I noticed that it's Frankfurt am Main in the state of Hesse. Straight away, as soon as we release an album, bing, up it pops.
It's auto-downloaded.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I hope he's listening to them because you're getting a run. Cale played on that tour with Jonathan Richman on March 1 and 2 before the UK and Australian tours that I saw Cale play in. So, and as I said, Roadrunner is the most likely to be recognised song by people, and I put that in the playlist.
Sweet.
Here's one that we know that most other people aren't going to know, unless you're into British art, inverted commas, rock. Mainstream by a band called Quiet Sun, whose primary guitarist was a fellow by the name of Phil Manzanera.
No, know him.
Yep. Yeah, never heard of him. Have you heard of a band called Roxy Music?
Although I've noticed in your show notes it actually says Moxie Music.
That's because I type with 10 thumbs. And some of the spellings before autospell gets to them are really quite interesting. And
So who else was in this?
Quiet Sun was a band that Manzanera was a bit of jazz rock sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Limited success. The album was called, as I say, Mainstream.
Did it get success? Was it successful?
No, it was not successful at all.
Would you call it a one-album wonder then? Or like a
You
hit?
would. The band broke up when Manzanera left to form Roxy.
Or was it a hit?
Not as such. Only later.
Okay.
Only later
All
when
right,
people went looking for it. So, they don't specify for the list exactly when your sales have got to happen.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So, but Manzanera's first solo album, Diamond Head, in 1975, we had members of Roxy, backing singers like Doreen Chanter, members of Curved Air, and so on. In fact, it was a formative band, one of the initial iterations of 801.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So for the album Diamond Head, Manzanera got the band back together. Let's get the old band back together again.
We're getting the band back together.
And in fact, Diamond Head used much of the material from Mainstream on his solo album.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Diamond Head, rather.
Yeah, great.
That's a bit of an indulgence putting that one in the list, but what the hell?
All right, we've got to start wrapping it up soon, mate. What else? You got anything else for us?
I've got one more.
Okay, that'll do it.
How about this one was a big hit. Them Crooked Vultures.
Oh, yeah.
And the album's called Them Crooked Vultures, funnily enough.
Yeah.
2009.
Yep.
A cracker of an album featuring Dave Grohl,
Yep.
Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age,
Cool.
who are no slouch of a band in and of themselves, and John Paul Jones.
Nice work.
From Led Zeppelin.
He's not doing much.
He's not doing much. He actually works a lot. He keeps appearing everywhere. He's such a hard worker. A well-produced selection of rock music. I know that sounds like damning with faint praise, but it belies their origins. Josh Homme, mid-range rock. Dave Grohl, hell of a drummer and philanderer. And sorry, I just read an article about his child that he had out of his marriage, but that's another story.
Who's that?
Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl. Oh, did he have a child out of wedlock?
Yeah.
Does he still play the drums?
No, he's got a drummer. That's what Taylor Hawkins was.
That's right.
He was the drummer, so they were a bit stuck for a drummer for the Foo Fighters for a while.
He just got into beard growing.
He got into beard growing and playing up.
Good on you.
Look, this is a really, really good album. Started out as Josh Homme's solo project and developed into Vultures after he invited Dave Grohl to be involved. And Josh Homme played with a lot of other people. There's a lot of guest artists, so he could have been on that guest appearances album, which is coming up next, and a guest appearances episode, which is coming up next. It's not really an album.
Oh, okay.
Although it might go as long as an album.
Could do. Probably longer.
Yeah, so the two of them got together, and John Paul Jones was sitting around waiting for an invite. And it really is very, very good. Have you heard this album?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah. Well, they keep promising to do another one, but since this one was 17 years ago, I think it's probably unlikely.
My music collection was closed well before 2009.
Yeah. Have a listen to it.
Okay.
It really is a very, very good album. Lots of tight, twisty songs, great rock. Homme's not a bad guitarist.
Cool.
And obviously Grohl is a great drummer.
Yep.
And John Paul Jones, every time he appears on an album, he really shows what he contributed to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, not that he was never appreciated properly, though.
He wasn't, and Page and Plant went off and did their own stuff, and left John Paul Jones out of that invitation. And I think that was a very stupid thing to do.
Bit rude.
You listen to any of their stuff, Kashmir. John Paul Jones is primarily responsible for Kashmir. I mean, it was a band thing, but without John Paul Jones, it would have taken a whole different direction.
And then they went off to the Middle East and recorded it, their unplugged version of it, and didn't invite him.
Yeah, it's all a bit bastards.
Bastards.
So that's what we got.
All right.
That's a bit of a mixed bag.
That's a good bag
but
too.
It'll be a good playlist. Really enjoying that one.
On that note, Mick, I thank you so much, and we will see everybody next time.
Well, folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're enjoying this, tell your friends about us.